Hello, Idea Challenge. My name is Alexander Gardner, and I'm going to be presenting MedTrans, the mobile therapy office and support and app tracking. So the idea is that we're going to be providing SUD support for gambling addicts, specifically to that 23 to 38 demographic of young professionals. Around 2% of this group suffers from gambling-related SUD issues. And the idea is the company's health plan would be the payers. So a lot of these young professionals have jobs, and we would target the company as a payer and their health plan and say, hey, you'll reduce the turnover and have more productive employees if they're treated and they don't have those underlying gambling addictions, right? So the idea for the patient would be that they would go to the mobile health clinic. This would be a sort of truck, a therapy office, and meet via Zoom with a team of care providers. And in tandem, they would also be able to meet with them on an app. And that app is designed to track some financial data as well as some geographical data of high-risk areas, and then report them to the care team. And they would be allowed to do interventions, maybe send a text message or an update. And this would hopefully create a higher rate of success in treating SUD gambling addicts, right? So a couple of unique things for us. I think there's something lost when you just do Zoom therapy or therapy through your computer at home. I think changing environments leads to behavioral change. And creating that mobile health clinic will allow people to have that environmental change and hopefully that behavioral change as well. So let's see what I need to talk about. So I think that's what makes us different, and I think the app tracking is pretty unique as well. If we could track financial records as well as geographical locations and provide updates to the care team, that would improve outcomes because you're with the patient more and you get more data, and I think there's some AI potential where you can feed that data into a model and understand earlier when someone's suffering or going through a crisis mode. As well as I think it gives us a lot of flexibility having a mobile therapy office and kind of doing therapy and SUD support a little bit differently than everyone else will allow us to test some different things and different theories, the biggest one being that the fact that your environment has a big impact on your behavior. So let's go. So background, Vitalik Health is a behavioral health company targeting 65 plus demographics, depression and anxiety disorders. And the idea is, since these people are on state health care and the taxpayers paying for their health insurance, we could try to reduce the cost of care if we treat some of those underlying health aspects. So Vitalik Health is a company started from my father, and he is essentially trying to treat those underlying aspects because he finds that 65 plus demographic who's on government assisted healthcare, right, is going to emergency rooms at a higher rate and just having depression and anxiety, and they're costing a lot in ER visits specifically. So it kind of came out of that idea. They're using a behavioral health model that's powered by AI. So there's an AI that listens to all the data between the patient and the care team and tries to make predictions on when that person might be depressed or suffering from anxiety. It has also a lot to do with, are they taking their meds? That's another huge thing. But going down, kind of understanding, other products people could use, traditional therapy. It's usually being done over Zoom right now. There's an app called Clear 360 or Clear 30. It helps people quit smoking and smoking pot by putting them through a 30-day program on your phone. There's no clinical help, but it's video-based, and it has notifications on your phone as well as a lot of tracking, and that's kind of a unique idea that I think is targeting SUD support, but for a different issue, right? And then lastly, BetterHelp. It's kind of more of a broader therapy app. They're doing a lot of great things, but I think again the location is valuable. Changing your environment will lead to behavioral change, and that's what we believe at MedTrans. So moving down to setup costs. There's quite a bit of setup costs. You know, the physical clinic is quite costly. The app development is quite costly. The effective clinical playbook will also be quite costly because you're going to have to pay some people to come up with a really effective care management team and care management strategy, right? So, you know, recurring costs, you know, payrolls are going to be some of the most costly things associated with this because, you know, you're dealing with therapists and mental health professionals that cost quite a bit, as well as insurance. You know, we're going to be paying vehicle insurance, liability insurance, as well as malpractice insurance, and most likely cyber insurance, right? Because you're dealing with a lot of HIPAA compliance when you deal with any therapy-based app, and having, you know, that cybersecurity insurance probably will be a must, as well as app maintenance. You know, there will be, you know, probably a lot to do with, you know, changing, and I think the flexibility that this program would provide is kind of one of the advantages, and the ability to test out different strategies for SUD support is really the kicker here. Let's see, do I have ability? Anything else? Probably will be C Corp. Besides that, thank you guys for listening.